Thanks for coming today. We're here because I'd like to announce my candidacy for judge of the Court of Common Pleas of Columbia and Montour Counties. I feel that as a judge, I can have the greatest impact to help people, and that's what I've tried to do my entire career. Moving from DA to judge is the next logical step in my career. Most people know that I have a very strong work ethic, and that my organizational skills have enabled me to advance to where I am today. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to be in a position that will enable me at an even higher level to assure that justice is served for all those who come before the courts of our judicial district. My objective as judge will be to implement practices that result in the proper and just handling of cases in a prompt manner at the lowest cost possible to litigants and taxpayers and with the least amount of tension in any given circumstance. Through more than 25 years of courtroom experience and over 50 trials, I know how to handle a courtroom, and I know what it takes to be effective as a judge. A judge must be fair but firm in his courtroom, and he must be clear in what is expected of those who come before him. I intend to be tough on crime, but I would also give fair consideration to all. There is no better preparation for a judge than spending lots of time in the courtroom, and I have done that. I am a lifelong resident of Columbia County, having graduated with honors from Central Columbia High School. I earned my bachelor's degree in accounting from Shippensburg University and my Juris Doctor degree from the University of Pittsburgh School of Law, both with honors. In law school, I held the position of comments editor on the University of Pittsburgh Law Review, a position which I earned by being in the top 10% of my class. I have practiced with the law firm of Purcell, Lucius & Norton for those 25 years. I served 2 years as an assistant district attorney before being elected to the first of my 2 terms as district attorney of Columbia County. In my private law practice, I have litigated a variety of cases, including negligence, malpractice, insurance defense, eminent domain, zoning, divorce, custody, workers' compensation, and business disputes. Community service has been a passion during my life. I have served as president or chairman of the Columbia County United Way, the Bloomsburg Area YMCA, the Bloomsburg Rotary Club, the Columbia Montour Chamber of Commerce, and the Columbia Montour Bar Association. I have had the privilege of serving as the solicitor for several townships: Central Columbia School District, Bloomsburg Area School District, the Columbia Montour Area Vocational Technical School, and our area economic development organizations. I am most proud of how I was able to enter the DA's office in 2004, at a time at which there was a horrendous backlog of cases, and I was able to reform the system to a point where we are now taking care of cases in an efficient, just, and timely manner. As of January 1st, 2004, when I started, 44% of cases filed during the previous year were pending. But as of October 1st, 2010, only 32% of cases filed the previous year were pending. Under my supervision, the Columbia County DA's office has a conviction or alternative disposition rate of 98%. And my personal winning percentage at trial is 87%. I've taken more cases to trial in Columbia and Montour counties in the last 8 years than any other attorney. I love the creativity required in putting together cases and taking them in front of a jury. As a result of over 42 jury trials, I know what is allowed and what is not allowed in a court of law, and that will enable me to have my courtroom function efficiently and fairly. I have secured convictions in homicide cases, rape cases, child abuse cases, and drug distribution cases, just to name a few. With my accounting degree, I've been able to successfully prosecute several white-collar financial crime cases where the victims have ranged from the Columbia County Tax Claim Bureau in the infamous Lois Dunn case to the Little League Midget Football, the JCs, the Bloomsburg Fair, and the Democratic Women's Club, and the Brighter Christmas Fund. These were all victims in our financial fraud crimes cases. Those financial crimes are very difficult to prove because of the volume of financial records that must be summarized into a concise body of information that then can be effectively explained to a jury. We've been very successful in that area. My expertise in financial matters has also benefited the county taxpayers at budget time. Considering grants and expenses, my office has operated below budget in each year of my administration. I also have been effective in leading the law enforcement community of Columbia County to several drug busts, which have resulted in over $1 million in drug asset forfeitures. When totaled, those forfeitures and the grants which we have secured exceed over half of our budget in the DA's office. Throughout Pennsylvania's 6 class counties, of which Columbia County is one, there is an average of 318 cases handled per each full-time attorney employed in the DA's offices. The Columbia County DA's office has 4 part-time attorneys on staff, and that equates to 565 cases handled per year per full-time equivalent attorney in our DA's office. This means that we have achieved our successes with the lowest staffed DA's office and with the highest level of productivity per attorney than any DA's office in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Back in 2005, I had the option to choose to go full-time, but I chose to continue to receive part-time pay, and I am the only district attorney in Pennsylvania who is left who continues to receive part-time pay of those who could have chosen to go full-time. This will have saved the taxpayers approximately $80,000 per year, and through the end of my present term in 2011 will have saved the taxpayers over $500,000. I personally appealed to the Pennsylvania legislature through Senator John Gordner and Representative Dave Millard to allow the DA's position in Columbia County to stay part-time. And within days of my meeting with the Senate Majority Leader in 2005, the full-time DA bill was amended and passed to allow the Columbia County DA's position to remain part-time. When the Pennsylvania legislature passed a very unpopular pay raise bill, I refused to accept an almost $7,000 raise in 2007. I continue to reside in Scott Township, Columbia County, where I was raised. My father is Robert Norton, Emeritus Dean of Student Life at Bloomsburg University, and my mother is the late Patricia Norton. I am the father of 3 children, Robert II, presently of Mifflinville, and Kenneth and John, who reside at home, and they both attend Central Columbia High School. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to communicate my position and my qualifications to the voters of Columbia and Montour counties, and the privilege of serving as their newest judge on the Court of Common Pleas. Thank you very much for coming today.
Are you taking some questions, Gary?
Sure.
If you were elected going from the DA's office to the judge's office, would it create any problems as far as conflict of interest?
Now you know that there's a general rule that cases have to be brought to trial under the speedy trial rule. It's called Rule 600. Within 365 days of filing if the defendant is not incarcerated, and 180 days of filing if the defendant is incarcerated. So there is going to be a transition period, which I wouldn't think would be much more than the 365 days, because that's the deadline within which the people have to be brought to trial.
The decision to run, how long have you been mulling that around?
Well, of course, it became real when it went public that Judge Noss had resigned. My plan through that point was to run for re-election as district attorney. I've been practicing for 25 years, and a lot of lawyers aspire to that judicial position eventually in their career. That's something that I've thought about in the back of my mind through my career, but it doesn't become real until there's an opportunity there.
Since I work mainly in Montour County, if you're elected, do you think you would split the duties up more so with Montour, and maybe Judge James would just not exclusively have one judge handle that county?
Judge James has been hearing civil cases down in Montour County, so they have switched off in that regard. Make it clear here, Judge James is going to be the president judge, and as such, those scheduling and assignment issues would be up to him.
Gary, did you know at this time last week about Judge Noss at all? Or is this deal just put together over the past 4 or 5 days?
I learned about it the day before it hit the papers. I learned about it at the same time that the reporters learned about it. We had been planning a campaign for re-election for district attorney. The committee shifted gears. The name of the committee now is Bipartisan Committee to Elect Norton Judge.
And you're planning on cross-filing them?
Definitely. Yes. I believe very strongly that a judge should not have a political agenda. A judge should not have a predisposition with regard to matters that are parallel with the law. In other words, when the law will dictate the answer, that's where a judge must go. I believe very strongly that in this campaign, it's not about one party or the other, and I am very attracted to the concept of cross-filing. It's a great concept. You know, a judge's role is that of a leadership role, and the judge sets the standard for what happens in the courtroom and what is expected of those who are in his courtroom. That is one area that I think that I can assume. I've demonstrated an ability to lead, and I look forward to that enhanced role. Our committee has met a couple times already. We're geared up. We're ready to go. We have events scheduled already, and we're confident that we're going to be able to run a very positive campaign and a very strong campaign.